All right, welcome back to the KFYR Plus News Desk. And now in its 11th year, Clear the Shelter returns at a critical time for animal shelters across the country. Capacity challenges, slowed adoptions, and limited resources now have left some shelters overwhelmed, with 5.8 million cats and dogs entering shelters last year alone. Hill's Pet Nutrition, the campaign's longest national sponsor, continues its 23-year commitment to shelter pets through its Food, Shelter, and Love program, supporting over 15 million adoptions and donating $300 million in nutrition to more than 1,000 shelters. Joining me right now is the kitten lady, Hannah Shaw, Hill's Clear the Shelters ambassador and award-winning kitten rescuer and New York Times bestselling author. Hannah, welcome to the news desk. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. So, Hannah, Clear the Shelters now in its 11th year. What makes this 2025 campaign especially urgent compared to, say, previous years?
Sure. Well, Clear the Shelters is the largest national adoption effort that happens every year. And this year it is especially important because we are in our fifth year where there are more animals coming into shelters than finding homes. Unfortunately, we see millions of cats and dogs entering shelters and just not enough people stepping up to adopt them. So, Clear the Shelters is a massive nationwide effort. We have more than 1,700 shelters participating. So, there is a shelter near you with animals just bursting at the seams. They're waiting for people to come in and adopt. So, Clear the Shelters is really creating a wave of awareness and life saving action to connect people with love to give to animals who are ready to receive it.
What are some of the challenges that shelters are facing these days?
I think that the biggest thing is just that there are so many animals coming in, and these shelters are operating on limited resources, limited people power. So they need as many people to help in whatever ways they can as possible. Obviously, adoption is a big way to help, but even fostering is a huge way to help, especially this time of year. In August, we have a lot of kittens coming into shelters. I'm actually joined by a foster kitten here named Say Hi Monkey. Monkey is a kitten who's too young to be adopted. So that's a challenge for animal shelters. But through the support of foster parents, that is something that we can do together to help save their lives. Fostering is a great way to help if you're not able to adopt. And the shelter covers all of the expenses. So you just give a little bit of time and love for a couple of weeks, and that can make a big difference this time of year, too.
Hannah, if someone's considering adoption for the first time, what should they know before bringing that pet home?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are considering adoption, but what recent survey data is showing in the 2025 Hills State of Shelter Pet Adoption Report is that there is this real feeling, especially young among younger generations, that you have to be perfect to adopt. And I think
Hmm.
a lot of people are prevented from adopting because they think I need to be perfectly prepared. We want you to know you don't need to be perfectly prepared to adopt. If you have love and the ability to provide consistent care, that is enough, and you are able to give enough. You don't need to know everything to start. Animals don't need perfection, they just need love, and the rest will come.
Do you have any tips for once the adoption takes place for the newly adopted pet to feel safe and comfortable in their new environment?
Absolutely. Yeah. When you adopt an animal, it's a transition for them and it's also a change for you. So be patient with the animal and be patient with yourself. You're going to be adjusting to a new routine. So I always recommend starting out with one home base, one area of your home where you're going to put their food, their water, their bedding, their litter if they're a cat, obviously some toys, and then spend those first days just getting them, decompressed and helping them establish that routine. Animals really thrive on predictability. So once they start to understand that routine and that they're in a safe and loving environment, you're going to start building that bond with them. The other big thing is nutrition. You want to make sure that your animal is on a good, high quality food. And this month, if you adopt through a shelter that's participating in Clear the Shelters, they're actually going to send you home with a free adoption kit from Hills. This is going to have a bunch of goodies to get you started, including a bag of Hills Science Diet food so that you can start them out on high quality nutrition from day one.
Fantastic. So, besides adoption, what are some meaningful ways that viewers can maybe support shelters during this campaign?
Definitely, if you can't adopt, spreading the word, telling your friends who might be interested in adoption. As we talked about, fostering is another really big thing. If you have a couple of weeks to give to a kitten or a dog or a cat, that's another big way to help. But if you want to contribute financially, there is a Clear the Shelters fund through Greater Good Charities, and that's going to support the shelters that are participating in this campaign. And then, honestly, if you have a cat or dog at home and you're feeding them that Hills Science Diet food, you can feel good not just about your animal's nutrition, but also that you're supporting countless animals being fed in shelters across America.
What's your message to viewers who may be on the fence about adopting or maybe even fostering?
I think that just like not letting perfection get in the way of doing something good. If you have it in your heart, that's enough. Honestly, I think that people feel like they need to study everything and be perfectly prepared, but you'll learn so much. And what happens when you go to an animal shelter, I think, is a lot of people are surprised by just how much support they're going to receive. There's adoption counselors there to help you understand and answer any questions and get you set up with the right animal, the right supplies, the right information. So you don't have to go into it alone. If you feel like you have an interest in this, just go to your local shelter and you're going to be surprised by how much support you'll receive and how much you really can do to save a life.
And what is one thing that you wish every viewer knew about animals waiting in shelters today?
I think that there is sometimes an impression that, these animals are kind of in a sad state or that they're going to be unhealthy or have behavioral issues. And it's just not true. Shelter animals, they receive so much really great support from shelters that are giving them their vaccines, they're getting them spayed and neutered, they're getting them healthy. And so by the time these animals are coming home to you, they are just ready for love. These are hopeful animals. These are, animals of all ages. You have, senior cats all the way down to the tiniest of
Hmm.
kittens, large dogs, small dogs, anybody who you are imagining possibly wanting to give a home to. I promise you, they're out there waiting for you, especially this time of year.
Where can we find participating shelters and learn more about how to get involved here during the Clear the Shelter Month?
Yeah, so you can go to hillscleartheshelters.com to learn more and find out where your participating shelters are near you.
Fantastic. Hannah, thank you so much for sharing your passion, your expertise, and your heart with us today. It's clear that 2025 Clear the Shelter campaign couldn't come at a more critical time. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you.
All right, 8 minutes after the hour here at the news desk. Let's take a break. We'll be right back here on KFYR Plus.